AITA for refusing to give up my deceased grandmother's ring to my stepsister on her wedding day. I'm 28 female and I have a stepsister Emma who's 26 female. Our parents got married when I was 15 and she was 13, so we've known each other for over a decade now. We've always had a cordial relationship but never super close, more like friendly roommates than sisters. We'd hang out occasionally, share clothes sometimes, but we never had that deep sisterly bond some blended families achieve. My grandmother passed away when I was 22, and it absolutely devastated me. We were incredibly close throughout my entire childhood. She practically raised me while my mom worked 2 jobs after my dad left when I was 7. I spent every weekend at her house. She taught me to bake, helped me with homework, and was at every single school event my mom couldn't attend because of work. She was my person. Before she died from cancer, she gave me her engagement ring, a beautiful vintage sapphire piece from the 1950s that my grandfather proposed with. It's not worth a fortune, maybe $3,000 according to an appraiser, but it's absolutely priceless to me. The sapphire is surrounded by small diamonds in this intricate Art Deco setting. I wear it on my right hand every single day and honestly feel naked without it. It's my way of keeping her close to me. Emma met my grandmother maybe 5 or 6 times total before she passed, just at family gatherings and holidays. They were polite to each other, but didn't have any real relationship. My grandmother had already been sick for a while by the time our parents married, so there wasn't much opportunity for bonding. Emma got engaged to her boyfriend Kyle last year and I was genuinely happy for her. Their wedding was scheduled for 2 weeks ago, a big lavish affair with 200 guests at a fancy venue. About a month before the wedding, Emma and I were having coffee when she casually asked if she could borrow my grandmother's ring to wear as her something blue for the wedding. I was honestly taken aback. I politely but firmly declined, explaining that the ring never leaves my hand and has immense sentimental value. I told her I wasn't comfortable lending it to anyone, even for a few hours. She seemed disappointed and said something like, "Oh, I was really hoping it could be part of my day," but she said she understood and I thought that was the end of it. I should have known better. On the morning of her wedding, I was getting ready in one of the bridal suite rooms when Emma came in, already in her wedding dress, completely in tears, mascara running, the whole 9 yards. She said she'd been planning her entire wedding aesthetic around wearing my grandmother's ring, that it would make her feel connected to our family history, and that as her sister, I should want to share this special moment with her. I was completely shocked. I reminded her that I'd already said no a month ago, and that she had plenty of time to find another something blue. There are literally 1,000 options: blue shoes, a blue garter, blue jewelry, something borrowed from a friend. She could have figured this out. But Emma broke down even more, saying I was ruining the most important day of her life and that clearly I'd never truly accepted her as real family. She said if I really loved her, I'd let her borrow it, that it was just a ring and she'd give it right back after the reception. That's when my stepmom burst into the room, clearly having heard everything. She immediately started pressuring me too, saying it's literally just for one day, that Emma had her heart set on it for weeks, and that I was being incredibly selfish on her daughter's wedding day. She said I was making everything about me when this was Emma's moment to shine. Then my own mom got pulled into it. She took me aside and quietly suggested I keep the piece and just let Emma borrow it to avoid drama. She said I was technically right to set boundaries, but maybe this wasn't the hill to die on. I felt ganged up on and honestly, pretty hurt that my own mother wasn't backing me up, but I stood my ground. I said no, the ring stays with me, and that I'd set a clear boundary a month ago that should have been respected. I said Emma had plenty of time to plan for something else. The tension was unbelievable. I made a decision right then that I couldn't sit through a ceremony in that atmosphere. I didn't go to the wedding ceremony itself. I told my mom I felt sick and stayed at the hotel, but I did show up to the reception later that evening, mostly because my mom begged me to. And yes, I was still wearing the ring on my right hand. I wasn't trying to make a statement, it's just where the ring always is. Emma completely froze me out. She wouldn't speak to me, wouldn't look at me, and I overheard her telling some guests that I'd sabotaged her perfect day by refusing to be a team player. One of her bridesmaids actually came up and asked me why I couldn't just share for one day, like I was some kind of monster. My stepmom pulled me aside at one point and said I'd embarrassed the family and damaged our family bond forever over a piece of jewelry. She said I clearly never cared about Emma and this proved it. Since the wedding, my stepmom has been sending me guilt trip texts every few days about how hurt Emma is, how I've created a permanent rift in the family, and how I should apologize. Emma blocked me on social media. My mom keeps saying I was technically right but maybe could have handled it with more grace and flexibility. Some of my friends say that lending it for a few hours really wouldn't have killed me and that I should have just done it to keep the peace. Others say Emma was wildly entitled to expect something that personal, especially after I'd already said no, and that springing it on me the morning of her wedding was manipulative. I genuinely feel awful that her wedding has this cloud over it now. I never wanted to cause drama or hurt her, but I also feel like my boundaries were crystal clear from the start. I gave her a month's notice, and the ring represents my deeply personal relationship with my grandmother, not our blended family history. The ring is the last piece of my grandmother I have. She wore it for 50 years. It was on her hand when she held me as a baby, when she taught me to bake cookies, when she hugged me goodbye for the last time. Emma barely knew her. But now I'm wondering if I was too rigid, if I let my attachment to an object hurt a living person who just wanted to feel special on her wedding day. My family is completely fractured over this, and I don't know if I'll ever have a relationship with Emma or my stepmom again. I'm sitting here looking at this ring on my finger, and I can't imagine ever taking it off, but I also can't stop thinking about Emma crying in her wedding dress, or my stepmom's text from this morning calling me heartless. Part of me wonders if I should reach out and apologize, try to mend things, but another part of me feels like apologizing would be admitting I was wrong. To have boundaries about something so deeply personal, like it would set a precedent that my feelings and my relationship with my grandmother matter less than keeping everyone else happy. So everyone, I'm genuinely asking, am I the bad guy for refusing to give up my deceased grandmother's ring to my stepsister on her wedding day? Should I have just let her borrow it? Or was I right to stand my ground?